Oh yeah, did you want to show me how to do it on my channel too? Hey, you only got one finger?
Yeah, I'm gonna show you after.
I probably got like three. You need one?
Hey, yo, salute to the people. It's the social forecast. I've been trying to get the roundtables popping again for a minute, and this is the first episode back in quite a few months. We got an old panel, but with a new member on the panel. And what I'm
Oh,
is I'm gonna let him
how
introduce
you doing?
himself to the roundtable, the whole roundtable format, and then we're gonna get into what tonight's topic is gonna be.
Oh, no, I'm losing on my finger.
So sis is back from the comfort zone. Jasmine, she's in the background doing whatever she do when she do what she does. And I got Key with me. I'm chilling with Key. Go ahead and talk your shit.
Jazz. I'll
Nah,
be back though.
Key, nigga.
This your boy Key. What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing on this beautiful rainy day?
Oh, it's raining out there?
Well, it's raining where I'm at.
Oh, okay. All the way from Jersey.
Yes, sir.
So check this out. And I know sis can hear me in the background. So if y'all in the stream right now with me, I see what the title is. Raising a child as your own for 18 years. And then you find out that child was not yours. What's up, Key?
Oh, I'll be mad as hell. That's a fact. That's a fact. Like
Mad motherfucker.
Word. And we talked about this, just me and you.
Briefly, yeah.
I feel like like when the father find out he's been not raising, let's just say child support. Raising, I'll be pissed too, but at the end of the day, 18 years, that's your child.
Yeah, but even if your child's on child support, I mean, you're still technically should be raising the child if you.
Nah, that's a fact. That's a fact. But if I was like if me and the mom is, what I mean, it happens, bumping heads, and the mom doesn't really want the child around the father or whatever, and he has to continue to pay child support for 18 or more years. If the child goes to college or school, they have to keep paying, so it could be 21, 22 years. I feel like the father should be reimbursed his money.
Which, before we get to that, let's speak on that for 2 seconds too. First of all, there should not be a mother on planet Earth that should be allowed to put a man on child support if she's denying access to that man having access to his child. Like, I'm sick of the narrative that, see, when you're actively in the family unit, you're expected to understand that part of raising a child is not just monetary. But yet there are women out there who don't want the fathers of their children to have access to their kids, but they want them to be monetarily responsible to help contribute to their child's upbringing. And I don't feel like that's okay. Like the court is responsible for this 100% because they cause a lot of these issues. Any woman who goes into family court looking to put their child's father on child support should automatically be obligated and be required to make sure that man has access to his child when he wants, because that's that child's father.
Absolutely.
What do you think about that?
I agree with you 100%. I was raised, me growing up, I was raised pretty much by my mom. My father was kind of in and out my life, and I heard, one story from my mom's side, and as I started getting older, me and my father was talking a little bit more, and then I heard another side from him, and it's always two sides to a story. You know what I mean? It's actually three.
Three sides,
I mean?
right?
Exactly, it's three. Her side, his side, and then the truth.
Right.
So I agree with what you said 100%, and most definitely I feel like maybe even if you, I feel like because a lot of females jump straight to the child support, like, oh, it's like they use the child as a pawn, and I don't like or agree with that. You know what I mean? Y'all laid down together. It was some type of feelings there. You have a child. I can see if the father wants nothing to do with the child. I have friends that have kids, and from what I heard from them, they're like, oh, he wants nothing to do. All right. He signed over all rights and everything. Yeah, then he should pay. But I still feel like if that's the case, it should be some type of blood test done to see if he's really the father once it comes to that child support step.
I agree with you 100%. No, 100%. Like, yeah, you know what? Matter of fact, that should be what the caveat is. It should be a required blood test, and there should be a required. Look, if the guy don't want to have nothing to do with his child, do the blood test. If it's positive, pay child support, but then you have to sign away your rights. And if and the reason why I say that is because, perfect example, my situation. I have a stepdaughter, right? For those who know me. Now, legally, like let's say I want to take my family out on a vacation that requires a passport. Legally, I can't get a passport for my 13-year-old because legally she's not my child.
Yep,
Now, what's fucked up is because her father still has his parental rights as far as the courts are concerned, he would have to consent to her being able to leave the country, getting a passport, even leaving the state in most cases. So that should be a requirement. Like if you don't want to have nothing to do with your child, you're not participating, you're not active, you should have to sign away your rights and then you go on child support, do what you got to do. It is what it is. And vice versa. If you feel like you don't know if that child is yours, you should be entitled to have a DNA test done to make sure that that child is yours.
absolutely.
And I don't think anybody can disagree with that anywhere because it's just logical. You want me to contribute my hard-earned money to this child, I should be able to verify 100% that that child's mine. That's
Yep,
just
because once your name goes on that birth certificate, whether it's yours or not, you're responsible and you're reliable for taking care of that child. But yeah, it's
I have to take a phone call real quick.
nah, I understand. That's why I was going I was going to keep it going.
Let's say we passed all that, right? Let's say, or that whatever the typical normal case that happens. Let's say some some woman that you're dealing with, right? Say she
Hmm.
gets pregnant, and now and again, perfect example. I'm from anybody who knows me knows I'm from New Jersey, right? New Jersey my whole life. Now I'm in Massachusetts. Part of the reason why is because I met someone, did what we did, they got pregnant. So me being who I am, me being raised by four sisters and a mom, you know what I'm saying? I come from a big family, predominantly women. Me being a somewhat upstanding individual that I was even back then at 22, I said, okay, you know what? If I'm responsible for this, then let me do what I got to do, and let me be where I need to be to do what I got to do. So I moved to Massachusetts, picked up everything I knew, everything I love, all my friends, left the only home I ever knew, the state of New Jersey, came to Massachusetts. Didn't have no family here, didn't have no friends here. Never thought about moving to Massachusetts a day of my life.
You was just on your grown man shit.
Right. And the person was from Massachusetts, and it was what it was. So came to Massachusetts, right? Now,
Hmm.
on the strength of this woman saying that she was pregnant as a result of what we did together. Now, I didn't know this woman from a hole in the wall. This woman could have been with five random dudes that the week that she met me. I don't know. But see, my take on it back then was you lay down with somebody, it's a possibility that you could be their next, the father of their child. So I had to go off this woman's word, not knowing who she was, nothing about her for the most part. Because back then, you meet somebody, shit. One thing leads to another. Shit happens. It is what it is. Right? That's just
Yep.
is what it is. So I
Hmm.
did what I had to do. Now, mind you, let's say the situation turned out where I said, "Yo, well, I don't know for sure if you're really pregnant by me. I don't really know you like that." Now, what would that family court situation have looked like? You see what I'm saying? Like if she would have said, "Well, this guy got me pregnant. Now I want him on child support." What recourse would I really have had at that point? You know what I'm saying? Like, and let's say the child wasn't mine, and let's say all this time, 11 years later, and 7 more years, I'm on child support. I'm in the system. I'm paying whatever the judge tells me I have to pay, however often, and let's say you find out on this child's 18th or 19th birthday, somehow, for some reason, it comes out somehow.
Shit, let's be honest. The mother will probably say it 9 times out of 10. I'm like, and that's why such
But
and
let's
such
say
didn't
that's
do
not
it.
what happened though. Like let's even take it to my extent, right? 11 years later, I'm married with the same person. Total of two kids of our own with my stepdaughter, so that's three altogether, right? Let's
Hmm.
say, God forbid, there's some kind of a situation where one of my kids, who I believe are my own, has some kind of a medical issue, God forbid, and let's say that medical issue requires some kind of
Blood.
a donor, something on my part,
Yeah.
and you do all the tests, and you find out, well, you can't donate XYZ to your child because that's not your child and you're not a match.
Yep.
My nigga, fuck child support. I'm going to prison
I feel you.
because what will go through your mind? You living your life, even if you're not with this woman, you're living your life thinking you're doing the right thing, contributing to a child who has your blood, right? Contributing to them being raised right, being provided financially with the things they need, and you find out they're not yours. What's the very next thing? Like, what does that conversation with you and that woman even look like?
I don't even know if it's going to be a. If it is a conversation, it probably ain't going to be civil.
Yeah.
Because because first you got two big things on your mind. Number one, your child is sick or dying, and number two, you just found out after some odd years that this child that you thought you can help isn't yours. So
Mm,
that's a lot of stuff running through your mind all
yeah.
at once.
Yeah. Now, normal situation, right? Right. Child's
Hmm.
perfectly fine. You're not with the mother. You're just paying child support because you were put on child support. You find out that child's not yours. Now, it's not it's not a situation where you call that mother like, yo, what's going on type shit. Because in addition to all of the years and the drama and the child support, it's probably post online, he ain't shit. This nigga don't pay this nigga don't pay that, right? The whole
Yep.
time. The whole time, the kid's not yours. But you're being painted as this individual. First of all, would you believe that if I were to ask you your honest opinion, would you believe that most women who has kids by men who are really not the fathers, do you believe that more women know or don't know? And
I
now when I
believe
say
they.
no, I mean possibly have some doubt, enough doubt that they know they should have a conversation with that man.
Yeah, I think a lot of them do because
Yeah,
you out here having unprotected sex
exactly.
with multiple partners. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? That's my thing. If you gonna cheat, be safe. Like
Right.
you raw dogging when you in a whole relationship and then you get pregnant. You like, oh shit. Well, I'm just gonna tell my boyfriend. Well, he already going to assume it's his.
Exactly. Right.
So why even put the blame on my? See, that's the thing. They don't want that that finger pointed at them.
Right.
You know what I mean? We get all the blame for the cheating and doing what we do. Which I mean, still a bad thing. But when they cheat, a
Hmm.
lot more can happen.
Right.
You know
Because
what
what?
I mean? I mean, us too. We could get another girl pregnant, but like I said, when women cheat, a lot more can happen from that situation, especially unprotected.
Right. And what's fucked up though is that either way we're looked at as wrong. I saw somebody on Facebook posted once. This wasn't too long ago. That if she's with somebody and she's pregnant and the guy that she's with wants a paternity test because he might have doubts, maybe they were going through a rough patch, maybe she's moving in a way that he don't trust her, whatever. She goes, if you want a DNA paternity test, you're obligated to pay for it because you're the one who wants the test. I don't agree with that. If
We can go half.
fuck that.
We can go
Listen,
half.
if we're in a relationship and something is causing me to doubt you to the point where I'm thinking that it's possible the child you're carrying is not mine,
Hmm.
your obligation to me as someone who supposedly loves me and respects the relationship should be to want to prove that.
See, I'll
Because
say some shit like that just to catch your reaction.
you see what I'm saying? Like, I don't think it's that crazy. Like, we're looked at as wrong if we look at our child and we be like, oh, they don't really look like me. Or like, like that's not just ignorance there. Like some men really do be having those doubts. If nothing's wrong, just like they say to us, if nothing's wrong, why can't you
Yeah,
prove
what's the big deal?
it? And I know right now this is the point where Jasmine would be jumping in like, fuck that. And I'm waiting. I'm waiting for her to come in and do her thing. But I, I don't see anything wrong with a man wanting to be 100% sure nowadays. Because there's women out here that you wouldn't think be moving around crazy, that be moving around crazy. Be having
Word.
whole husbands at home. And as soon as that nigga go off to work or go, whatever, Like women are reckless out here nowadays.
Like, but it's crazy because I do respect a woman that jumped straight to, because I mean I was in the one, my ex girlfriend, you know, we were having unprotected sex. Of course, that was my girlfriend and everything, and it was like basically she missed her period. I think like 2 weeks or something like that, and she texted me and told me like, "Yo, I missed my period. I've been throwing up a lot." She already has a son, so she told me like, "This is how I felt when I was pregnant, last time." So I was like, "All right." I'm like, well, I asked, I'm like, "Do you think you're pregnant?" And then she was like, "Well, this is how I felt last time, this and that." So I'm like, "All right, no problem." Before we even really got deep into the conversation, she just went like, "Listen, I'll get a DNA test and such," and I'm like, "Whoa!" I'm like, "I ain't asked you for all that, I know what we did." You
Mm-hmm.
feel me? But
The
this is
fact that she
important. This is
offered.
important too. We weren't in a relationship at the time,
Mm-hmm.
so
But the
that's
fact that she was willing to offer, though, it
oh
shows you
yeah.
a stand-up type
And
of
I
character.
felt like if we were in a relationship, that wouldn't have came up though. That's what I'm saying. I'm mentioning this because this is important. I felt like if we were in a relationship, she wouldn't have said nothing about like DNA tests. But
Mm-hmm.
because we weren't in a relationship at the time and we still had unprotected sex, she was like, "Listen, just so you will have no doubts, you're the only person I've been with since we broke up, and I'll go get a DNA test just now." I'm like, "Whoa." I'm like, "Well, first let's see if you're pregnant." And then I'm like, "You don't gotta do all that." She's like, "No, but I want to ease your mind." I'm like, "You don't gotta ease my mind." You know what I mean? Because I know what we did. Like, yeah, it's a chance, women could lie and say anything like, "Oh, I wasn't with nobody," when you really was, but nah, I didn't.
You know what, too, though? And not, it's just me being honest, and it could be naive to a certain extent, but any woman who comes out and straight offers that, I probably 9 times out of 10 would be like, nah, that would be enough for me.
That's
Because
what I said.
a
That's why I was
woman,
like, "Nah, it
yeah,
ain't even that deep."
but if you really were out there moving crazy, you wouldn't offer that. You see what I'm
That's
saying?
yeah.
And
But
women, I
I ain't
don't,
gonna lie, a lot of niggas try hollering at her. You feel me?
yeah,
But her curve game is real. Like her curve game is 100. Like she
yo,
like me and her would be right next to each other. Mind you, not in a relationship. We would be like next to each other, and she'd be like, "Look." I mean, she be showing me like niggas be trying to no response or one word response and shit like that. So I know a lot of niggas try to talk to her, but like
matter of fact, on our next guy talk, we got to talk about that because I don't think women understand or realize how much men respect that. Like, like any girl I'm potentially interested in, or let alone somebody I'm with, you are expected to curve anybody who comes at you when you're in a situation with someone. And
facts.
like that shit's a turn on. Like when you could be like, "Nah, I'm good. you know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta
Thank
do."
you.
You know what I'm saying? Like that shit to me, like loyalty is the most attractive thing. To me. One of the most attractive things. So
Yeah,
gotta talk about that in our next guy talk.
yeah.
So okay, right. So now you found out this child's not yours. You've been on child support for years and years and years. Most cases, what's going to happen, right, is nothing because at 18, at that point, you're not going to be on child support anymore anyway, right? So most cases, and I'm sure there have been plenty of men
Oh, on
that
this side.
have found this type of shit out, and they just go on about their lives. They're pissed off. They're bitter. It is what it is. But now
Mhm.
you said that woman should have to reimburse you. Now,
I I feel like the alleged father should be reimbursed.
mhm,
Wait, should y'all can y'all Oh, we gonna rewind it back for Jazz.
I,
Basically, 18 years you raising a child that really is not raising, paying child support on a child that really isn't yours. Do
now
you
keep
feel like
yeah,
do you
yeah.
feel like they should be reimbursed all that money?
Now go ahead and give us your bullshit reason as to why you don't feel like that should.
Uh,
Go ahead and piss me off.
I feel like pissing you off today too. I feel like pissing you off today too. But you know what? I'm going to say yes. They should be reimbursed.
Oh my god, what?
And the
Nah,
only
yo,
reason why I would
that's a
say
whole different story from last time.
no, the last time I said because I'm thinking as far as okay, I'm gonna go both ways. I'm gonna say yes and no. I'm gonna say
can't
I'm
say
gonna
both.
say, yeah, I couldn't say both because I'm
I
gonna
don't think
explain to
you
you
can go
why.
bisexual on this one. I think you got to pick one.
No, because I feel like this. If we're speaking as far as my
Mhm.
opinion is yes, they should be reimbursed. That's the right thing to do. If
Mhm.
we're speaking as far as law and stuff like that, then at the end of the day, you had every opportunity to get a DNA test.
That's
But
not always true though. That's the problem with that. That's the only
And then
hole
that's what I'm.
will come in.
But why can't you could get a DNA test?
but
You
look,
just have to pay for
but
it.
look. Let's
No,
say,
that's
all
not
right.
true though. Like, look,
I'm gonna use. Hold
if
on, Kev. 1 second. I'm
yeah,
gonna use this as a scenario. Let's say me and a girl are messing around. She comes up pregnant. She has the baby. Right when she has the baby, I'm thinking it's mine.
Because you
I
was messing
Yeah,
with her.
because
You
I was
trusted
messing
her.
with her. I
Yeah.
signed the birth certificate.
Yeah.
Then let's say the next day, we could do the next day or two. I go get a DNA test, just like, you know what? Something in the back of my mind is telling me, like, this is a possibility. I get a DNA test and it come back not mine. I'm still, by law, I have to pay. I have to pay child support by law because
You
I signed the
birth
birth certificate, but I didn't know at the time.
But
right.
you can get that taken off.
No, you cannot.
Uh,
You can
No,
get the
you
birth
cannot.
I'll give
certificate.
you.
You can.
Okay, wait,
You
wait,
can get
wait.
a birth,
I'll give
just
y'all.
like you get a
I'll give
file
y'all.
put on a birth certificate. You can get one taken
I'll
off.
give y'all two scenarios. Right. This one scenario is this: you can't force a woman to have a DNA test done. That's the first thing.
You
Now the
can't.
court.
No, you can't.
Now the
That's
court.
bullshit to me.
Now
That's bullshit.
Now, if you go to court, and this is the problem why we had when we had one of our last streams, and I said men need to know their rights and be more involved. If you go to court, to family court, and you are fighting paternity, there are cases where the court will court order a paternity test. There are cases you can have that done. But here's the problem, though, and this is in a lot of states, and it's definitely in the state that I live in. When you're married to a woman, that woman can cheat on you blatantly in the middle of that marriage, come back the next day and tell you she cheated on you. If a pregnancy comes out of that situation, the court don't give a fuck how many blood tests you get.
Because
They
y'all
don't give a
married.
fuck. Yep.
Because
The
y'all
state of
married. But
Massachusetts
see,
looks at it as
over so
even
many
if the
years,
state of Massachusetts looks at it as even if a woman gets pregnant cheating on you with another man while you're married to her, you're still legally responsible for that.
That's bullshit to
That's
me. I'm
fucked.
sorry.
It's fucked up.
That is bullshit.
That's why I say the law is not.
but you talking about marriage here. You're talking about marriage. Are we
Well, we're
talking about
talking about
marriage?
a
Or are we
child
talking
that's
about?
not yours and you being obligated financially to take care of that child. So there are a
I
lot of
don't think anybody should be obligated financially. No, I don't. I think they should get their money back because nobody should be obligated. Anybody
Mhm.
should be obligated to take care of nobody's kid.
When you're tricked.
You know, regardless, even if somebody can't, nobody's obligated to take care of nobody else's kid. Period. Nobody's obligated.
But it's fucked up, and a lot of women out here do that, and they trick these men into thinking these kids are theirs or that they're faithful or this and that. And there's a lot of there are men out here raising children their whole lives and never find out that the children aren't theirs. Like it's fucked up. It really is a crazy situation.
And I mean, after a certain point in time, like I said before, 15 years, even 10, 5 years, you know what I mean? Like you met, regardless of the years, you messing with a chick,
Mm-hmm.
and we talking about not what we're talking about when the guy talk, far as it not being yours, getting tested and everything. But I'm talking about you coming into a relationship with a child, like yourself.
Right.
You know what I mean? That child is yours, like your stepdaughter.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's your daughter.
To me,
Even
I
though
like
I chose
that marriage, knowing she had a kid, that's an obligation.
Yeah, now that's an
yeah,
obligation.
that's something that you choose to step
You,
into.
you chose to do that.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But by that same token, here's the other part of that too, that some people look at as being a downside, and I can't necessarily fault them. So I came into the situation knowing that my wife had a child. If at this point the marriage doesn't work out and we end up getting divorced, not only am I responsible to continue taking care of my children, but I'm also forever
responsible
taking care of hers. Yep.
And that I don't 100% agree with. But in most cases, you've grown attached to the child, so it is what it is.
Yeah, I was about to say that. You know what I mean? Like it might
But-
not be.
But I feel like the people who fight that, I don't feel like they should have to. You see what I'm saying? Like I don't feel like they should have to. But you know, it could go either way. It is what it is. But if he gets what he wants, right? And it's the law that if you convince somebody the child's theirs or whatever, you don't tell someone that child's not theirs or might not be theirs, or give them that opportunity to find out, and they contribute financially into that child and then find out that child's not theirs. If there's going to be required reimbursement, then we're going to have to
Now,
start
are
looking
you
at
talking just child support? Because we could talk college too. Like, let's say if
all
they go to
types of shit.
college, let's say
Because it's
the
not just,
child goes to college, you have to pay beyond 18,
yeah,
and
yeah. Because we talking
and
health
the
insurance. You got to carry health insurance.
health insurance.
Talking,
And let's say you have to put money into their education. You have to pay for their education. You have to pay for books, laptops, and
and
all that stuff.
even before college, growing up, like it's not just money that's required for them to live. If that child is in dance class, you can be forced
Yep.
to pay half. That child is, you see what I'm saying? Like
Anything,
lot
yeah.
that comes with that, and rightfully so. If that's your child, rightfully so. But if it comes out that it's not, how does that reimbursement look? Because 9 times out of 10, that woman's not going to have that.
Yep.
What happens in that case? Does the state pay you back? Like what happens?
Fucked up about that shit.
What's that?
Now that I think about it,
Mm-hmm.
it's fucked up that you gotta pay child support past. Cause listen,
Only if they go to school.
Only if
I
they go
know,
to
I know,
college.
but I think that's fucked up, and this is why I think it's fucked up because technically, you're no longer responsible for a parent is no longer responsible for us after 18.
If they're not in college. Like for example, my job, right? If I carry health insurance for my family, if my kids are going to college, I still got to keep them on my health insurance.
But this is what I'm saying. If 18 is old enough to go out and get off.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. You're right. Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? You're no
You
longer responsible. A parent
Like
is
you
no
can
longer
legally kick
yeah.
your child out at 18.
Yeah, at 18, you're no longer responsible for me at 18. So I don't care if you're in college or not. I don't think that a father should have to pay child support or a parent, period, should have to pay child support past.
Yeah, you're right.
I
You're
think
right.
the courts look at it like the mother's going to have to pay for the education.
Yeah, but nah.
So you should help pay for the education.
I don't think that that's right. I don't think that that's right.
I'll honestly,
Because 9 times out of 10, the mother ain't paying for the education either.
9 times out of 10, the mother ain't paying for a lot of shit that she's supposed to be.
Exactly.
Let's
9 times
football
out of 10,
that.
child support doesn't get used for the child; it gets used for the
And
mother.
that's why my point a long time ago was anybody on child support, just like the man is obligated to prove he's paying it, the woman should be obligated to show where those funds are going. Period.
Yeah, I think they should have to go to court with receipts saying, "Okay, I paid for
This
diapers."
that, and the other, just added up.
Facts.
Yeah, because I know plenty of chicks that get child support and they go out and get their fucking nails done. They go buy new clothes, and their child is bummy as hell.
Exactly.
That's not fucking right.
That's a fact. Because most people don't realize this. Child support is regulated by the state. A requirement to even have somebody put on child support is that the court forces that mother to go on welfare. You can't put a man on child support without you going on welfare, whether it's food stamps, whether it's cash assistance, whatever. You have to be WIC, whatever it is. That's the only way you get child support, at least in the states that I've lived in. I know that for a fact. So now there's strings attached with that, right? If I don't pay, I can have my license suspended. I could be arrested. I could be whatever it is.
Can't, get a passport.
Exactly. So now
if you don't pay child support, your life is done basically.
Because essentially you're paying that money to the state, and then she's getting that money through whatever the system has set up through welfare or whatever it is. Like,
and to add on that, sorry to cut you off, but to add on that too, a lot of fathers are getting locked up for child support, and shit is still accruing while they're in jail. How am I supposed to pay something when I can't earn money?
And how does that not reinforce the fathers that raising my child must not be about the child? It's just about a paycheck.
That's a fact.
And we want men to care more about their children, not just look at them as dollar signs.
I'm gonna go deeper into it. I just feel like that ain't nothing but a strategy to keep the black community. I'm not gonna say the black man, the 100%. Black community.
100%. Because that's where it's most affected. It's most affected in those situations. Now, I have the utmost respect for women who go to family court, and because look, the courts never want to get involved in family situations. They only do it because people can't figure it out. I have the most respect for women who say, you know what, I don't want him on child support. I want him to do the right thing. If he do, and if he don't, that's on him.
He don't. I know a few women like that too.
And
I respect them. I'll tell them. I'm like, yo, put that nigga on child support.
But you know what, though? Those women, they have foresight, though, because they understand, like, me hemming him up is not gonna help the situation at all.
Mm-hmm.
And then at that point,
that person actually wants you to have a relationship with your kid. It's not
about the money.
Exactly.
But it's sad because there's so many different circumstances. Because a lot of times, the people that's not putting the fathers on child support, it be the deadbeat ass fathers.
That's when
And
you have
that be
no
my
respect
thing.
for those
That
men.
fucking,
Those are the men I have no
and
respect.
what's keeping them from not putting them on child support is because they continuing to fuck them. Be honest with you.
my boy was paying child support for his daughter, and his baby mother lived with him.
That shit crazy, ain't it?
And he take care of his child. And that's the funny thing too. It is a lot of men out here on child support that still shows up with sneakers, still shows up with clothes, still comes around. And
But
no
see,
credit.
that's because look, just like the state will force you to get on assistance if you put in your father on child support. It goes both ways. If you put your father on child support and you need that much help, they'll force you to get on assistance. That's the same thing, right?
But you know what? Yeah. But
no.
What I was saying
is, if you get on assistance,
they force you to put it on child support.
Yep, exactly.
It go both ways.
Exactly.
And that's why I say it's an error and it's something going on. It's something wrong with this system.
And that's why I think women just need to start thinking.
Because what happens is the father has to pay back the state for you having assistance.
Yeah,
exactly.
And I'm like,
because look, when you're paying child support, you're not paying that mother directly. You're paying the state, and she gets.
They do, you're paying the state, and they do give you a piece of the child support.
Right. Well, what I'm saying is the woman gets a check from the state. They don't get a check from that man. Like that's how.
It goes through the state.
But right.
The state is the middleman.
But look, if the point is me paying my child, why am I paying the state? But that's what tells you that the way this shit is set up.
It's a fucking. It's
crazy.
It's bullshit.
It is.
But that's why we need more fathers.
We do. Like me.
More fathers stepping up.
Like me.
And actually paying. We need more fathers not trying to get around and not having a job to get around it. You know what I'm saying? We need more people doing that. Because it's not, honestly, it is a lot of deadbeat people. It's not, I'm not saying that it's a whole bunch of them out here, because a lot of times.
No, it is. Fuck that. It is. Fuck that. It is.
It's a lot about in the hood. It's a lot of deadbeat ass men.
There is. But look, too, Jasmine, acknowledge this part, too, because some of those men, because Silcat made mention to this, too, during the live stream. Some of these men who try to get under the table jobs, they're not all doing it to try and avoid child support. What happens is, let's say I have a good job, right? Let's say I'm making like $60K a year and we have a child together. You put me on child support and the judge determines that, I don't know, 10K out of my 60 got to go to that child for child support, right? Let's just for throwing out numbers. Let's say something happens. Let's say I get hurt or whatever, and I could no longer do that job. Let's say my next job, I'm only making 25K. That 10K is still that 10K. You see what I'm saying? And that puts a lot of men in fucked up situations because now they can't pay what they were able to pay before. But the judge ain't
always go back and try. I'm not saying that it works.
It can go, but it's not. It takes a long time. And
it do. But you could always go back and try to get it lower.
Yeah, you could try, but a lot of times while you waiting for all that to happen, you already falling behind.
But
now,
see, you know what? I'm a little. The reason why I feel so strongly about this child support thing, like not paying child support and stuff like that, because honestly, like I know a situation where this is my problem. A father paying child support for one of his children, and because you're paying child support for one of your children, you are not able to help the other children. That just because, I mean, and they may have different mothers. You're not able to do anything to help your other children because you're paying child support to one child's mother.
Yeah, and now you can't help.
Help the other children that you have.
Yeah. Or if you're on child support for multiple kids, it gets less
and that to me, I feel like that's just dead ass wrong. Like
I just feel at the end of the day, it ain't benefiting the child.
Yeah, I just think everybody should be more responsible. Men should take care of their children, and women should be a little less quick off the hip to shoot the child. Because look, let's say you have some women who get emotional. They put their kid's father on child support. They could reconcile, move back in together, be living together happily now, and he's still on child support. I know a lot of cases like that where they're together and the man is still on child support. and the state won't let them come off.
I
Like,
don't honestly. I don't even think I can
But
get
you know
back
what?
with a woman.
A mother, well, if she's not on assistance, because it is situations where a parent is not on assistance and the father pays child.
there are, there are.
And she can actually go back to the court and say, "It's okay. I don't want him on child support anymore."
Yeah,
but then you can't get because you can't get
yeah.
You can't get no assistance. Oh well, you said that.
They're not on assistance. Yeah, I know situations like that too. But
and it's crazy because like once you fall, there are some good fathers who just have a hard time paying because they just don't make the money right to sustain themselves first, right? And
I just feel like
you're behind.
I feel like a lot of times you gotta know who you sleeping with. Honestly, you have to know who you sleeping with because you can see in a person whether they're gonna take you through hoops with a child or not because they took you through hoops with just you two in a relationship.
Sometimes that's the case, yeah, but sometimes
sometimes women do switch when they're bitter. That I can say that.
Sometimes.
But a lot of times we see it happening all the time. A lot of times these men be having children with these hood ratchet, money hungry ass women, and then you wonder why she put you on child support.
Yeah,
that's true.
Or a woman who already has 3-4 kids, don't get that woman pregnant because she don't even have to be a bad woman. She already has 3 or 4 kids.
Struggling.
Exactly. Unless you plan on marrying her, locking it down, and being there to actually support that woman as a family, don't get that woman pregnant because you're gonna be another one in the system because she need help.
Just like you said, we all need to be a little bit more responsible because I tell women the same thing. Like, and when they, come and tell me the stories like, oh, he ain't shit, he ain't never took care of my kid, this and that. And I look at her like, all right, I know this nigga since I was like little. We kind of grew up together, but we came up together.
Right.
He never was shit.
Yeah,
right.
He wasn't shit when you opened your legs.
Right.
What makes you think he was going to be shit after? Because you had a baby by him?
And that's another thing. Women need to stop thinking. That's a whole nother.
Nother topic. But at the end of the day, they need to stop thinking because they have a baby by a dude. Right. They're going to stick around and like be committed and be in a relationship. Like y'all going to get married. Like men don't think like that.
And if you seeing that he wasn't taking care of his other kids,
what makes you think? And I said, yo, listen.
Wait. Hold on. I can't do that. That part I can't agree with 100%.
What's that?
Okay. Let's say like 60-40. I think maybe 60% if you see a man not taking care of his other kids, he's probably not going to take care of yours. But that's not always the case because sometimes, like I was saying before in the prior thing that we did, some women make it impossible for you to take care of
the court. I tell motherfuckers that all the time, like, oh, bro, she won't let me see my son.
And
take her ass to court for fucking visitation.
I can speak on this. Yeah.
Visitation and what's the other one? Basically, man, take her. What is not co-parenting. It's joint custody or visitation rights.
Listen,
you could time in.
You could do this all day long, right? You can go to court and say, "Listen, Your Honor, I'm going to see my kids every day. She's not opening the door. She won't let me take my kids. I have a right to. I have a right to take my kids. She's not letting me pick them up. You could do all of that, and the judge could say, you know what? You got to let him see his kids. And then when you show up at that door the next time, nobody's going to force her to open the door. Like it's just certain women are just not going to play by the rules. And you know what? Certain women, all they have to do is say, well, Your Honor, I'm sorry, but I don't feel safe. And she could be lying through her teeth. And now that guy is the bad guy in the courtroom again. Like,
but you know what I always...
The good men...
Okay, go ahead.
The good men stay in the marriage or stay with the mom because they know they don't want that headache. The ones who aren't good men, who really don't want to take care of their kids, they're the ones who duck the system. The good men like me just say, you know what? It's cheaper to stay. I'm just going to stay and take care of my kids until they don't need me to take care of them anymore. And then I'll do what I got to do for me. That's what the good men do.
Yeah. You know what I tell people, like my boys or something that come at me and stuff with that. I basically just tell them like, bro, keep trying. Even though like yo, listen, a child mind is like a sponge. You know what I mean? I'm like,
oh yeah.
The child sees what their mother is doing and they see you trying.
Uh-huh.
That's the most important thing. When you don't come around and you just talk a good game, that's different. But when you keep showing up at that door, trying like, yo, let me get my son or let me get my daughter, this and that, the child can see and hear that.
And you're
And
right.
the child is eventually going to grow up and get older, and then it's going to mess up the relationship with the mom. You don't want that, but that's eventually going to happen.
You're right. That's 100% fact. And I know people say, it's a lot of things you could say to what my response is going to be, but unfortunately, that should not listen. As my natural born right to have access to my children the same way the mom does, I should not have to go through that. I should not have to fight anybody. If I'm no threat or danger to my
You
children, I
shouldn't,
should
but
not have to fight anybody to have access to my children. And even if I say, you know what, no matter what she does, every day I'm gonna let my kids see me trying. I still lose that time. Who can give me that time back when my kid was 5 and 7 and 9? You missed all that time. That
Absolutely.
shit is enough to drive some men crazy and be like, fuck, what's the point? That's like you. That's like you going to fucking, I don't know, school to see your kid every day and they're behind a glass. You can never touch them. Like that shit will drive. Why are you gonna keep going? At a certain point, you're gonna be like, you know what? It hurts me more to keep trying to do this and I can't. Like
Mm-hmm.
some people are legitimate in their reasoning when they say shit like that.
Yeah, that's
It's
true.
just It's just fathers are just not treated as we're treated as auxiliary parents, and that is just no way other way I can explain it. It's fucked up, but we're not looked at as real parents. We're just not. I don't know why, but we're just not. Just is what it is. The best you could hope for is joint custody, right? The mother almost always gets physical custody, almost always gets the majority of the days in a week. It's just the way it is. Like
Yeah, the
shouldn't
the law is a little bit more held towards
right.
the woman's side. Yes.
And they shouldn't be. They should be on the side of who is genuinely the best parent. Fuck all that maternal shit. Fuck all that. The baby came from the mom. Once that child is here, who's the best parent for the child? And it's not always the mom. It's not.
That's true.
That's how I feel about it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, this was definitely a good subject,
Is there
and we
next
got
time
it.
though? Next time, can I throw something out there? I don't know.
Of course, good.
So we talked about the pregnancy. We talked about the child support and whether or not it should be reimbursed. Next time, maybe we talk about what happens to these women who falsely accuse men of rape. Maybe they should be
Ooh,
prosecuted. I don't know. Just
I
throwing it out there for a
yep, yep.
possible
We'll
topic for
save
the
it. We'll
next.
save it for the next
You know,
round table.
you know. What you think, sis?
I say take their ass right to jail.
You think we should cover that on the next one, sis? Look at her face.
yeah, we can cover that. I don't know. We can cover that.
Facts. Hopefully, we can get the other panelists join. Maybe we can get the other panelists to join the roundtable on the next one. I don't
Word,
know.
word.
I don't know. Only one person has contact to the other panelists, so I don't know.
Yeah, and I gotta charge my phone. I should about to
All
die.
right, final thoughts, folks. Final thoughts.
My final thought is, man, we all just need to be more responsible and really take heed and think about who the fuck we sleep with, unprotected.
Mm-hmm.
That's my final thought.
Could have said it better myself.
Stop fucking these ratchet ass baby moms.
And
Wrong.
stop fucking with these no
That
good
want
ass
to be a
niggas
baby
who ain't
mama
got shit
so
going for
bad.
them. Stop fucking
Huh?
with Ray and Stevie, and stop fucking with these
Yeah,
jailbird ass
stop
niggas,
fucking with these women that want to be a baby mom so bad.
and stop fucking with these dudes who are not about shit.
Yo, if your
Word.
chick is okay with you calling her BM or baby mom, then she taking you child support.
Oh shit! Hey yo, check this out. Chilling with Key and the Comfort Zone. Both descriptions are in. I mean, both links are in the description box and on my main YouTube page on the right side under featured channels. Both of their channels, the icons and the links are on my page. So definitely go check out their channel. I don't know what's up with these motherfuckers and their content, but they need to do some more
Yo, I
videos.
got some content that I just didn't upload yet.
The links are there, so y'all can go show love
But
whenever there's something to go show
we
love to.
dropping some videos tonight.
Definitely. We're definitely going to
Good.
come at you with some real good content. It's going to be a lot. I don't have too much on mine. Maybe the gamers, they'll be fucking with mine, but I'm going to come with a lot more, man.
I'm
So
trying to get the
please
people to
go
show love.
follow, I mean, subscribe, like,
Show love too.
comment, and hit that bell so you can get the updates.
Other than that, it's been another dope round table, and we'll see y'all in the next one. Peace and love.
Peace.